A heart-stopping moment for people in Los Angeles when loud explosions rocked the night air and military helicopters descended to land on one of the city's busiest streets. Jim Murray explains what was going on.
Oh my God.
Los Angeles under attack? It sure looked that way as Blackhawk helicopters flew in formation right over downtown buildings in the pitch dark. You can even hear an explosion. Choppers landed smack in the middle of Wilshire Boulevard. Soldiers could be seen running to climb on board in this video shot by a guy out his apartment window. The U.S. Army did send out a media advisory about the drill, the purpose of which was to enhance soldier skills by operating in various urban environments and settings.
Okay, here's where the government lays it on thick, kids. Residents may hear sounds associated with training, including aircraft and weapons simulations. Citizens in close proximity to the areas the training will take place will be notified prior to the training. Ask any of these people that were being interviewed on the streets, and none of them were given a heads up as to what was going on. Everybody was in shock.
I definitely think, it would be nice to get a heads up. Nowadays you just never know what's happening. And
in just a few seconds, I'm going to show you video of 2 consecutive door breaches. These are charges to force open a locked or a reinforced door. Okay, this is 1138 Wilshire Boulevard in downtown Los Angeles. This is the Guatemalan House of Culture. And here's a wide shot of it from Google Street View. Here's a tighter shot of the doors, the metal doors. And you can see that there's signs that say that it's closed, it's an abandoned building, and it was slated for demolition in a month from now. So let's listen to the breach charge as they blow up this metal gate front door. So the big building in the back there is the Wells Fargo Bank, which is pictured here on the right. The Guatemalan House of Culture is just to the left out of frame here. And here's a Blackhawk helicopter, apparently having just dropped off troops on the ground. And here comes the first of 2 door breaches. That was the front door to 1138 Wilshire Boulevard. Anyone who thinks this is a military exercise is poorly informed. They are raiding an actual real-world address, and here comes the second breach. Which apparently was the back door to get in. So keep thinking that it's a military exercise, kids.
Then you are clear to engage. Hit it.
Now, what am I supposed to tell the press?
Training exercise. Isn't that the usual BS?
It's not that simple. An unfortunate training exercise involving an F-22 Raptor occurred yesterday.
And we begin tonight with breaking news. Low-flying choppers, loud explosions, a military exercise catching people by surprise tonight in downtown L.A.
And while it may look like an invasion, don't freak out. We're told it's only a training exercise.
It looked like a scene from a war movie, a helicopter flying low in between buildings in downtown Los Angeles. According to the LAPD, it's all part of a U.S. Army training exercise to teach soldiers skills and how to operate in an urban environment. The department said residents could hear weapon simulations. Officials say the local terrain in Los Angeles provides the Army with unique locations and environments that service members may encounter when deployed overseas. But some people here feel they should have been warned about this.
So wait, I'm confused. The military says that they gave ample notice to local residents, yet the local residents are saying they had no notice. Which is it? Also, since when, after starting 2 foreign wars, do U.S. service members need to invade our own cities in order to do any sort of urban warfare training? For example, here's what the military calls the box. It's located at Fort Irwin, which is in the California desert. It's a full-scale mock-up of what can be expected overseas. In this training video, they're actually using simulated weapons fire and simulated IEDs. If you notice, when the simulated IED explodes, there is no residual damage to any property. Unlike in downtown Los Angeles, where the buildings have had all the glass blown out of the ground floor windows. Who on God's earth would believe that the U.S. military would come land on Wilshire Boulevard, downtown Los Angeles, to conduct a training exercise with no notice, blow up an actual building, and leave with several packages? This was an op, people. There was an HVT, or high-value target, inside the 1138 Wilshire Boulevard address, which I believe and several others believe was a bioweapon, judging by the white suits that the operators are wearing. I'll show you video of its extraction next. Okay, here's the Wells Fargo Bank building once again in the foreground. And here come 4 Little Bird helicopters, completely blacked out. Here is a stock photo of that helicopter to give you some reference as to their size and where the operators fit inside the helo. They're going to land right in front of the 1138 Wilshire Boulevard address. And you can see 4 operators go to each helo. They're all wearing white hazmat suits. Now, these are Night Stalkers. These are the Army's 160th SOAR, or Special Operations Aviation Regiment, based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. These are the elite of the elite. Now, when the Little Birds take off, keep your eyes on the men dangling out of the Little Birds. They're clearly visible with their feet on the skids. Then they magically disappear. Did you miss it? Let me show it to you again. All right, I'm going to show it to you 3 times in real time. Notice how the operators are outside the military choppers on the skids in the white suits, and they magically disappear after they cross behind the palm trees. Isn't that interesting? Almost as if they're using some sort of cloaking device. Here it is in slow motion, in case you think your eyes are playing tricks on you. Now you see them, and now you don't. You can see the first Little Bird in the front. There's the second Little Bird. Here comes the third Little Bird. This isn't some Universal Studios stunt show, kids. This is real world ops. And I don't know why they would expose top secret cloaking technology to all of downtown Los Angeles unless it was mission critical.
Here comes the Blackhawk, I think. Oh, fuck. He's like invincible.
So here is where the first of 2 Blackhawk helicopters, again with all the lights out, lands on Wilshire Boulevard. You can see the refueling probe in the front of the helicopter. And here come the operators, and look, they've got carrying almost like a stretcher sideways. They've got 2 HVTs, and they're getting on board this Blackhawk helicopter. Blackhawk helicopter will hold 11 men, and they just put 2 packages, HVT packages, in. Here comes the second helo. Okay, here it is. I looped it for you guys a couple of times in real time, zoomed in, and then one time in slow-mo. There's 10 operators that get on board in white hazmat suits. You can clearly see 2 high-value target, 2 packages that they are carrying. 2 men each are carrying it, and they get on board this helo. And if you notice, you can see all of the guys in their white suits, and then once it takes off, they all disappear as well. Here you can see a second Blackhawk helicopter coming into land. This helo is going to take off and all of the guys will disappear. And they're gone. But you can see their feet hanging out the side of the helicopter. Right there. You can see all of their feet hanging out. So, second helicopter's going to come in. This one actually has its lights on. Not sure why. Okay, quick aside, this is the vantage point of the photographer. In the bottom of the frame, circled in red, is the Guatemalan House of Culture, boarded up. I shot this photo several days after the incident took place. The yellow circle are the palm trees, which obscured part of the video when the helicopters landed on Wilshire Boulevard. Up in the blue areas where the photographer, citizen journalist, was during the night of the incident. This is just to give you a bit of perspective of his vantage point. This is a classic example of a citizen journalist who made headlines with his footage. We're often approached by law enforcement with them saying, if you're press, where's your press pass? Press is something that you engage in. It is not something that you are. Without missing a beat, right when that thing hits the ground. Here come the operators. And look, there's another two guys carrying another package. So it looks like they took 3 high-value targets out of this address. Which then one can only speculate what was going to happen with these bio or chemical weapons. Were they going to be dispersed once the building was demolished in a month from now? And who owns the Guatemalan House of Culture? More on that later. Again, all of the operators magically disappear. And you can still see their feet hanging out the side. So just in case you weren't sure if this was a bioweapon or not, here is one of the Blackhawk helicopters getting sprayed down on a surface street with what appears to be some sort of chemical decontamination. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section as to what you think is going on in any parts of this video, especially this portion. Why on earth would this be part of a training exercise in the middle of downtown Los Angeles? Looks pretty real to me. So if you're anything like me, you're asking yourself, where were all the news choppers in Los Angeles? LA is the media capital of the world. The answer is Long Beach. All of the mainstream media was sent there by the Army to film the distraction, while the real operation was taking place downtown on Wilshire Boulevard. The Wilshire Boulevard infiltration and exfil were never supposed to see the light of day. Thank God in this day and age we have people who create their own stories outside of the mainstream media. Long Beach was simply theater.
An explosion at the port of Long Beach, and then military choppers swarm in. It's actually all part of a week of special forces training for Army pilots across Southern California. CBS 2's Chris Holmstrom is live in Long Beach with more on tonight's big exercise. Chris.
While details of the military drills are kept secret, we know the soldiers will enter the building where they will work out different scenarios.
In case things weren't weird enough, here's a story of a Navy P-8 Poseidon jet, which is generally used for anti-submarine warfare. It's got a long antenna extending from the rear of the jet, which seeks out magnetic anomalies in the ocean used in the hunting of enemy submarines. Apparently, it's also got signals intercept capabilities and/or ground-penetrating radar, and was circling over the Los Angeles area at 20,000 feet on February the 4th, 1 week prior to the raid. Again, if you think this was all an exercise, I've got a bridge to sell you. In addition to the 1138 address, the 1150 Wilshire address was also breached during this raid. You can see plywood covering up one of the entry points to the building within the red circle. Also, this wide shot shows the Girardi law firm circled in blue, which will be featured in part 2 of this story. Stay tuned for me getting a hero's welcome at the Girardi law firm next door to 1138 Wilshire. I wonder if it's all connected. Says who?
Says this is a law firm and they will sue you. Just a warning.
Call the cops. Call the cops right now and go fuck yourself, okay?
What do you want done with him, sir? We want him removed out of here.
Off of a public sidewalk?
They have every right to be out here with you.
Yep, learn the fucking law, douchebag.
If you pass that line there, they're going to put you under arrest for trespassing.
No, they asked me to leave first, and then if I don't, it's trespassing. Do you often make up laws, officer? What's your name and your badge number?